Here in just a few minutes with Bruce Porter right after this.
Investment advisory services offered.
We know many of you want to leave a legacy, but have you ever considered that clarity might be the greatest gift you can leave your loved ones? By creating an estate plan that specifies how you want your assets and situation handled, you can provide exactly that. Whether you're preparing a will, establishing a trust, planning for end-of-life expenses, or offering a living legacy, estate plans show how much you care. Call or click to RSVP today for our monthly workshops.
And thank you for joining us once again here on Dollars and Cents, K-ROG. Planet 417.
Yep, we're here. We're live. It's foggy,
Hey,
but it's not smoke.
And at least it's going to be warm today. Yeah, that's right. If you didn't know what was going on the other night, they were doing controlled burns down in the Mark Twain National Forest.
Jasper, Arkansas. Where's that at?
A lot of it's in Missouri. Some of it, I guess, maybe is in Arkansas. I don't know. But
3,000 acre controlled burn. And now I guess we just get to breathe in all the stuff.
I don't mind.
Yeah. Kind of brought back memories from being on the farm back in the day and burning brush.
Smoke means progress.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Al Gore and Greta Thunberg don't like that, but we don't care what they think.
Hey, where were they at with the East Palestine thing? Greta?
Oh, we've that's no longer, we no longer need that distraction from the shenanigans, so we're not talking about that anymore.
All right.
No, those people are still sick and dying, and we're still denying that there's any environmental problems there at all, even though clearly there is. But apparently it doesn't affect any endangered species, so we really don't care. It's just people.
Yeah.
And yeah, people don't matter, apparently.
So it is what it is.
It is what it is. We'll go from there. But, yeah, what else you got going on?
Well,
we've been busy.
We've had workshops this week. We have one more today.
Yeah, we had a good one last night. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, 23 folks last night joined us for our monthly workshop on estate planning basics. And if you haven't checked that out, you need to. It's a good program that covers a lot of good information.
And I always tell people it's not as bad as it sounds. You know, I mean, you think about going to an estate planning workshop and you're just like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, we make it fun.
It's fun. We have a good time.
The guy that broke the board last night, he had a good time.
Yeah, he did a good time. That was Stan.
Yeah.
No, Stan Beverly for a long time.
Yeah.
They're good people. Yeah.
So we're making lots of good friends, and I would encourage everybody to come and check it out. We're right there at 1304 East Kingsley and the Resource Center building. It's beautiful. Come join us.
It is.
Come and watch our community room. We don't feed you. We have water and coffee and
a good time.
And we do have a good time. We learn a lot. I have seen your presentation 500 times.
Yeah, about that probably.
And you know, it's I'm still not bored with it.
Wow. Well, I'm not either, so I still have a good time giving it.
The reason is because of the engagement of the audience. Mm-hmm. And you know, they ask interesting questions. We had some really good questions last night.
We did.
That, you know, people can relate to their situation. Mm-hmm. But when everybody else hears it, they go, yeah, I've dealt with that too.
Sure do.
And I think people learn a lot at our workshops.
Well, we schedule it for an hour, but with questions, I mean, we were there an hour and a half, easy last night. And that's fine. We're happy to do that.
Yeah, we got done about 7:30, and that's okay because we had probably 15, 20 minutes of questions.
Yep.
And I don't mind to do that.
No,
I don't know.
No, not at all.
I think it's okay. You know, we do offer our meetings, and, you know, and I like to tell people, look, there's not a lot of fine print. We've been doing this for so many years.
That's right.
That, you know, hey, tell us what you got on your mind. We'll correct your thoughts if necessary,
Yeah.
right? But we will also give you lots of valuable information to digest, and then as a family, you can make a decision on what to do. And unbelievably, that works.
It does work. And, you know, every once in a while, I have somebody come in, and they will have done their own research, so to speak, and they'll come in and say, I need a power of attorney
That's
and
always fun.
a quit claim deed,
Yeah.
and that's my estate plan. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
We might ought to think through that.
Well, I mean, let's, what I tell people is say, hey, listen, I'm glad that you did the research. I'm glad that you've looked into some things, but this really works better when you tell me what you want to achieve and let me pick the tools.
Yeah.
That's kind of where you tell me, hey, I want to make sure that my stuff gets to my kids as quickly, as efficiently as possible, and I want to make sure creditors can't get to it.
Right.
Great. I know exactly what to do for that.
Yeah.
But you start telling me the pieces you want, and we have to do an extra step because I have to figure out why you think that's what you want. And sometimes people know they've picked the right pieces.
I know.
But we've got to back up and make sure that what you think you want as far as products is actually meeting your needs. Because you can go to the grocery store and say, hey, I'm looking for good nutrition, and so I'm going to buy some ding-dongs and some popcorn and that's my idea because, that's good nutrition. That's good food, right? Well, I understand, sometimes ding-dongs and popcorn are the right things to buy, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But sometimes they're not. It's the goal that's important. You
need either Spam or a hot dog for protein.
Yeah, you need the protein in there.
Well, I mean, we had an interesting appointments this week. And, and people need to understand when we offer our meetings and, we're pretty much 90+% run rate on people that attend the meeting want to sit down and talk.
Sure.
And that's okay. I think
that's
eventually they all come in just to visit because they realize that, hey, tell us what's on your mind. If we understand what you're trying to accomplish, then we can provide you structure, and here's the estimated cost. We do all that ahead of time. And when they leave my meeting and they've got a meeting next with you, I want everybody to understand, in order to save you money, we do that. We gather the information, and then I brief you and Janine on that. And before you even go in to talk to Will and his people, he already has a practical understanding of who you are, and then we give you an estimate. So I give a guy an estimate last night, him and his wife. And first time this has happened in quite a while, but I gave him an estimate, and he said, wow. And I most of the time I think, usually that's probably expensive.
Usually, wow means it's cheaper than what they were expecting.
He goes, wow. Are you sure that's enough? And he said, now I don't want to make any shortcuts. And I said, dude, this is our custom estate plan that we do, and we customize everything.
Yeah.
And he felt kind of guilty that we give him a good deal, but it was what we normally would charge.
Right.
And we give you discounts and things as much as we can.
Well, and the reason we can do that is because we spent a lot of time and effort building a system and building the templates that are fully customizable to make the process of getting someone a customized plan fairly straightforward, streamlined, and that's why we can do it really at half the price of what other law firms generally are charging.
I think if we were to do a little survey, I think we would be very competitive.
More than competitive, I think, honestly.
And, I think the whole idea of extending blessings, we've been very blessed in our lives, and I think it's always good if you can offer people a blessing that they would not expect or normally would not get from, a similar business, I guess. I don't know. But I like the idea of that. I like the idea of helping people. I like the idea of really honestly getting down in the mud and digging through their issues and letting them know, here's light.
Yeah.
Here's the answer, and here's what we can do. And it's like a light comes on, and they just have this relief that we've been able to help them.
And so much of the way estate planning has been done in the past is it really does leave folks to wander around in the woods themselves without a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I'm really proud of about the way we do it is we dive right into meetings before we ask our clients to do really any significant work on their own. I mean, I tell people, I said, we want to know kind of who you are, what your addresses are, kind of that vital information for you and the people you think would include in your plan. But don't go to a lot of time and trouble of trying to figure out, oh, there's this deed and this policy, and I've got this account there.
No.
And don't worry about that. We're going to do that together.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the process so much easier for everybody, including us, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And like we say in the meetings, that process of the lawyers just kind of turning you out on your own and saying, go figure all this stuff out and then I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
People don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And that's where estate planning goes to die, as I like to say, is that process.
Well, and that's the truth. And that's what happens because people get overwhelmed with simple tasks. You know, if you ask me to change oil on my car.
Oh, I know how to do that. I take it to the mechanic and tell him to change the oil. I'm asking, pay him to change the oil on my car.
I mean, honestly,
that's how you do that.
Honestly, I'm not that guy.
We go to Wildcat Automotive or Craig here in town and say, I need an oil change.
That's right.
Take care of it.
I'm going to Wildcat Automotive because I don't even want to raise the hood.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because I don't know what I'm looking at. And, and so I know my limitations. And when it comes to estate planning, which affects your entire life savings and all of your assets for potentially generations to come, do you really want to do it yourself the cheapest way possible?
Well, and it's so easy for it to get derailed.
And it can get off track pretty easy. We've seen it. We've fixed them. We've had to correct things. And, you're probably not going to download a bunch of forms and get it done correctly and avoid probate.
Well,
and so I think people realize that after they talk.
And I don't want to drag our show out too long, but, my experience in 20, 25 years of consulting people with their various legal issues is this. Everyone approaches forward thinking from the perspective of what we're going to do because everything is going to go right. And you look at businesses that are falling apart because they're not making money and they can't get along, and now they don't know what to do, and it's because they had their CPA draft their LLC, which is illegal. It's a crime for a CPA to do that. But that CPA isn't trained as a lawyer. They draft their operating agreement on how they're going to split the massive amount of profits they're going to make. But when things go well, they don't know what to do because they only planned for when things go right.
Right.
And a good lawyer, a good advisor is going to look at your situation and say, absolutely, we're going to plan for what things go right. But let's spend a little bit of time and figure out what we're going to do if things don't go as expected. What happens if that child dies sooner than you expect? Right. What happens if that son-in-law goes off the deep end, has an affair, and now there's a divorce in your family?
Right.
Is your plan set up to protect your bloodline from those things that we don't expect? And we certainly hope never happen, but that's what good planning is all about.
Yep, that's exactly right. So please join us. We do these monthly. We have these scheduled. I don't know when our first break is.
I don't think we have a break scheduled, Bruce.
I think
we're powering through.
I think it's sometime in the fall before we slow down. So call the office, 882-1800, go online, call Will's office, talk to our folks, and come into these workshops. They are worth every ounce of time that you spend, and it's very valuable. And I would encourage people. I wrote a book a couple of years ago called Finding the Courage to Retire.
Great book.
That covers a lot of the information that we've talked about on our shows, whether it's money stuff or legal stuff. And the whole idea behind that book is to help people find that encouragement, find the strength to
and I
pull
realized
the trigger
that,
on retirement.
Your book made me realize that I often make a mistake, which is I'll get a book and I'll skip the foreword, but the foreword of your book is amazing.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I had this really smart dude write it.
I had a good time doing that too.
Yeah, that was good, but I encourage you to check that out. That talks about pulling all this stuff together and keeping it simple and easy. And again, our tagline of our company for 23 years now has been simple solutions in a complex world. So now that works still today.
Yeah, well, it only gets more meaningful. So
yep.
Thanks for joining us, everybody, on Planet 417 and right here locally in K-ROG. And we're glad to have you. Keep watching, keep joining us, download the app, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and the Resource Center, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet a particular need of an individual situation. The Resource Center, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein, provided by third parties, have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by the Resource Center, Inc. This podcast is a paid placement.